Hello and welcome, I'm Arumba. Thank you for joining me.
Hello everybody, Mathis.
Hey folks, Cool18 here.
Hi, I'm Johan.
Hi, Johan. And a special guest.
Oh, right.
Don't worry about that.
He will be remembered.
You'll be missed.
He'll never be forgotten. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we're here to talk about U4, El Dorado.
El Dorado, indeed. Well, we've already had a little bit of hands-on time with it. About, what, an hour?
Yeah.
About?
I took a little bit of extra time.
You took extra time. I died about 5 times.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you expect?
Arumba's already broken the game. Found out all
Yeah.
like the broken, insane combos.
I kept hearing the devs in the background, Arumba, you just broke it.
Yeah.
I know.
Just broke the game.
It took about 10 minutes, and I've already
It didn't
got
take long.
like the best custom nation. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
you really
fantastic.
did. It's something I'll use during our multiplayer.
No,
Campaign.
no,
All
because
right.
Wiz is already going to fix it. He already told me, oh yeah, that's out.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to change it.
What part?
Well, I can tell you because he's not going to. It'll still be in the game when it comes out on release, but he's going to fix it like right away. So
Don't count on it.
don't,
Oh, wow, all right.
it'll take him a while. So you're able in the nation designer, you're able to like choose which territories you take and how much they cost. Choose the national ideas that you pick, and then also whichever provinces that you want. But for some reason, the cost of taking like the important centers of trade was not really
That
kind of
much.
measured.
Okay.
So if you take all of the important centers of trade in the English trade node, then you can just start off with like
Super
30
rich.
ducats a month of income, and it's pretty good. So
That was gonna be my
I called it.
tactic.
I called it Trading McTrade, which is going to be the name of the nation. So
All right.
Yeah,
I don't.
and then just stack some trade ideas, but not
Yep.
not max level them.
yep,
Right.
you got an extra merchant. You get Merchant Republic, and then you take some other trade ideas, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I find the ideas and aspirations are way more expensive than just taking provinces. Like starting off with a colonist costs like 30 points, but it's like double that if you take it as an initial idea. But for that amount of price, you can take like 15 provinces, including like gold provinces and things. It's like, well, we'll see what that's like. But you can make some fun stuff. Like starting off with a colonist right from day one. It's amazing.
Right.
Oh, okay, so you basically say you pick these ones here.
Don't show them.
Yeah, it's a
secret tactic.
Oh no.
Okay, I'm making my Arumba killing nation.
Right next door.
See, this is the problem. I was talking to Johan yesterday. He's like, when you guys play multiplayer, it's different than when we play multiplayer because
We're too nice.
Like in the last campaign we did together, I like really kind of beat the crap out of Northern Lion. But there wasn't a big colonial Spain that was played by a player that would
That's
come in
true.
and stomp me, which is a fair point. Which we only play with like the nation named Kill Arumba.
It makes a big difference if you have 30 or more players because
Yeah.
there's a kind of a self-balancing there. You're not just abusing the AI's propensity to be a little bit more passive.
Yeah. So we're making the Kill and Arumba Nation. I didn't even mess with the Arumba creator, the nation creator at all. I actually just messed with the Aztecs because the Aztec religion kind of came in. I died 5 times. But I found it really interesting just because it has that doom counter, because they believed back then if you didn't sacrifice to the gods, it'd be the end of the world. So the way you kind of take care of the doom counter is you have vassals, and you sacrifice your vassals to the gods to keep that doom counter down. And if you don't, and it goes all the way to the top, like they were telling us, it's the end of your game because, in a way, because all your noble line gets sacrificed instead. Unfortunately, I just kept getting crushed by my neighbors before we saw that part, but that's not really that surprising.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you must start over with like 0 legitimacy, basically.
I would
Like, you
assume
must get
that's
a new
what it
family,
is.
a new dynasty with no legitimacy.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like it was pretty detrimental if you let the doom counter get all the way up. But that's something exciting, and you can find El Dorado and the Fountain of Youth and everything in the game with conquistadors. They were saying,
Right.
Which I didn't really obviously get to experience that much, but hopefully something that we're going to be doing in our next multiplayer game, which is something that I think we're going to be talking about
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
a minute.
Well, I did mess around with the nation designer a little bit. I made a fantasy country. I called it Belgium,
Okay.
and it was quite exciting.
They
I tried to make a Western power in Africa, and I tried to see how few points you could get away with, because you can start with very easy, it's like 800 nation builder points, which is a lot.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
normal is 400.
200.
No, okay.
There's 5 settings.
Oh, okay.
There's
There's
800,
very easy,
400,
easy, normal at 200.
200, 150.
Yeah, so I first started with 50, and that was a little bit tough because just picking a Western nation in Africa ate up like basically all your points right away.
But you did uncover the little trick you can do, right?
Well, there's a couple of them. One of the discussions was to start Eastern. That way you don't have to worry about everyone in
Yeah.
Africa westernizing instantly. It's like, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Right, and it's only like 20% more tech cost. So
Yeah, it's not too bad at all.
being Eastern's not a big detriment, really.
Yeah, you get slightly weaker units, or they
Yeah.
peak at different times, but overall it's still pretty strong. And it's cool that you can choose your religion, although as we discovered from the starting bookmark, you can't just start as Protestant or Reformed,
Right.
which I guess makes sense.
In 1444,
In
you
1444.
cannot. But I imagine, and I actually didn't test this, Johan, if you start in a later time,
Yeah.
like after the Reformation has supposedly or
Yeah,
has
then you
officially
can-
begun.
Yeah, you can pick Protestant.
Nice, as long as it exists
Cool.
somewhere on the map, presumably. There was something else I was going to say. I can't
Well,
remember.
there was also the other thing we can talk about briefly. Go ahead.
Nope.
No, please. I was talking about the whole randomize the whole world aspect that you can do as
Yeah.
well, which will, I'm assuming you two will use a lot more than I will.
So there's 3 modes, right? So
Yeah.
there's the there's the actual historical map mode, no custom nations allowed. Then there's normal, which is the normal map you're used to, but you can create a custom
Create a
nation
nation,
anywhere
yeah.
you want. And one thing that's notable about something like that is when you pick which provinces are part of your custom nation, if you're just picking, say, like empty space, then you're not really weakening any neighbors. But if you're picking all your provinces from, say, France, then you've got, not only do you have a new country, but you have a significantly weaker France in the game, which is a big deal.
I'm
Right.
sure everybody will do at least once.
And the important thing too is that when you take land from, say, France, they don't keep their cores. So land that's traditionally French that you like need to avoid because France will get mad, you can take. Like you can take Ile-de-France, and sorry, this is officially mine. It's never
17
been
tax
yours
base.
before. Yeah.
Okay, now you have your Trade Republic in the English channel. I like everyone to meet Kill Arambia. It's a Norse steppe nomad in the heart of France.
Okay.
We don't care about things like the sea or so. We start with, we have the steppe technology, which means that we're long term we're kind of like in a bad situation, but stacked cavalry compatibility and morale at number 1. So basically, if you have any promises on the mainland, they will not be yours.
Well, I don't know, because I had like 30 ducats a month in income and like 40 force limit at the start of the game. I think I could just buy mercenaries.
I
Pretty
like
sure.
how we're sitting here discussing, how the game works, and
He
Johan's
just-
over here. He's got the idea. He's like, I
don't
just
know where I
want-
shoot.
I need to kill a Roomba.
He just wants to kill me. I mean, it's
I mean, that's kind of a running theme
some people
in
just
all the
want to
games.
see the world burn.
like you, right? But I am really excited about the nation designer when it comes to multiplayer because of like the replayability.
Yeah.
Like one of the complaints that I've kind of had, and that's not really even a complaint, is just that if you're going to play multiplayer, it's like, okay, someone's going to take France,
Yeah.
someone's going to take England,
Yeah.
and it's always the same. It's
Right.
never different. And now, like when we play together, we'll be able to like break those countries apart or like have specific point limitations on each player based on perceived skill. And,
So me and Ryan have 800 points and you two have 50.
right, and I think you don't have to spend all your points, right? You can just
That's probably true.
come in under the number.
Yeah, as long as you're not above. Well, the other thing that's important for a multiplayer kind of balance situation is you can, instead of using the normal historical start with all the nations, you can either do a randomized map or a true custom map where it starts completely blank. Other than the countries that you create, there'll be nothing at all. So it really comes down to pure skill. Plus, you can balance the tax value of all the provinces, right? Instead of having
Yeah.
some that are worth 1 and Ile-de-France being 17, you can just have everything be like a 3 or 4 tax base across the board.
Yep, you can do both. You can do 3 or 4 every province.
Right.
And then you can have true random, which you can, there can be.
Slide
This is a true random. I picked up random
There you
page
go.
space.
Oh, let's see what we've got here.
Let's, as you see, you can only see a range of stuff around us. Let's say I started with the Killer Umbria here.
Oh, very
And
nice.
That's good.
Very good. I want to play against this.
There's
When I'll,
You want to play against Killer Roomba?
well, because here's something you can do as well. Like when you create a custom nation, you don't necessarily have to play that nation.
Right. You can do like
You, can,
yeah.
you could create my Trading McTrade and put in also Killarumbia and then
Like see how
have an AI play them in single player
play
or
both.
multiplayer.
Oh,
of
they'll just,
course.
you know what's going to happen, like they do with France and Castile. They'll just ally, and
Oh,
then
that's
just
true,
dominate
yeah.
the world. So don't really matter. Orisa, they're so big.
I like the Ottomans up in Sweden. In my random game that I set up, I had a Canada in Finland.
It's alright. Orisa's like dominating.
Huge,
and-
yeah, Orisa, I
it's,
mean-
whatever.
That's how you play Orisa.
Apparently, you just got to move your entire country.
So who has the highest income in the game?
Polotsk, and I know where.
Whoa! Oh no! And
That's
what,
like
what
the
kind of
Ming
government does it
times
have?
two.
Like being there, it's probably set to Eastern, yeah?
It's a Canad, and it's
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay,
it is.
on it. Yeah. Okay.
Nomad.
Okay.
Okay, so long term, not the big threat.
Mm-hmm.
Feudal monarchy, Chinese. animist. They're pretty rich.
With these random nations, do they fit the normal tech groups? Or
Yeah,
is it,
the normal tech groups are, but then they're
Based on the region, not
yeah,
based on the
killer
country.
under. Okay,
name.
of course.
Right.
I'm not anywhere near as rich as the
Killer, yeah.
Yep, mhm.
But
Although 12
Yeah.
per month is pretty good.
I would still win. You know.
I'm sure you would.
30 against 12. That's like
I need
that's
to
so
think
many
that-
mercenaries.
the Norse mechanic is the same one from the converter when you get, so you can pick your own deity if you.
Oh,
press
okay.
Norse.
Oh, wow,
right,
that's
because I've
awesome.
never played as Norse religion because
Ooh.
unless you played with the converter, it didn't
Yeah.
exist,
Yeah,
right?
but so let's put it this way. I'll be able to have a leadership at day one.
And you can run. Can you run 100% cavalry as a step? I don't remember.
I don't.
Or is
I
it
actually
80?
don't really.
I think you can. I don't think that you have to have any infantry.
I think. I think
You need to
it's
select. I'm
100%.
sorry. You need to select an army and then hover over the
I
cavalry.
thought it was shown here.
Teach
him, teach him.
somewhere.
I know
else,
what to
bet.
do.
I know you can see it from the army, but there's got to be
Yeah.
somewhere else you can actually
Get
see.
a yep, and then you hover over the cavalry, lower down.
Yeah, the other one.
The next one, in the below that. There you go, right there. 100%. Yep.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
So yeah, and you've got your 20% bonus from your tradition,
I
and then
get,
your +1 shock.
Yeah, because that's shown here. It's like I get 20% there.
How do I make my blob bigger? That's all I want to know.
Okay, can only have 26.
Yeah.
Yes, but day one in
You
cavalry.
can't, but you can't afford them. You don't have any money.
That's when you ally Trady McTrade and you just dominate the world. So what we're
Yeah,
saying
you
is
feed money from in the
one of us
trading.
will. So Ryan or I will start as Killarumbia, and then the other one will take Trady McTrade. Will ally because we always ally because we backstab a room.
That's
every
what
time.
you do. Yeah.
And then wherever you are, somewhere in the world, we'll just find out how to kill you.
Fine.
So-
I'm moving to the new world then. Forget it. We're done.
Okay, so you say I can't afford. I currently have 20k. Okay, they're not.
The stream is
God,
going
I
to be
need
a
I need
debate
a
over
proper
whether he
mouse
can kill
pad.
him or not.
Nah.
All right, let's start up some play right now.
I know. Let's
go.
just play.
Yeah. Well, you could afford what 4 cavalry right now, but you can't pay for them. You don't have any money.
So
You're
let's,
making money.
I'm gonna rein you back in,
This is
Roomba.
0.53 per month.
Mm-hmm.
I'm earning 12 per month, so I can afford 24 cavalry. Or 23 or 22 something for.
But you got reinforcement costs. And
Yeah,
you've got, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So I'm gonna pull you back in here for a second, Ruben.
Okay.
So what are we thinking with El Dorado hitting shortly, soon? What are we thinking? How is this going to impact our series? Because we're going to be getting back into it soon.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that we want to talk about. I mean, when we finished up, we said let's get together at some point and figure out what we want to do for the next series. Do we want to wait for El Dorado? And because of travel and everything, I got you. Because of travel and everything, we haven't been able to get together and figure out what we're going to do, and now El Dorado's kind of nipping at our heels.
Right.
How is this going to affect our series? What are we going to do?
Well, we should probably all do custom nations.
Right.
So then
Yeah.
the question is, how many points do we
Right.
use? How do you balance it? Do you have the historical world, the randomized world, an empty
Right.
world? What's best? I think if we had like 30 people, starting with the empty world and then growing from there,
It'd
would
be
be pretty good.
Yeah. Thank God we don't have 30 people. so.
Randomized nations with a flat tax base might be the most balanced thing. Now, is that an interesting thing?
Right.
Maybe.
Then every promise is worth the same.
Yeah.
I just love that you don't really know what the other countries are.
Right.
And then you get like the more enclosed terra incognita, which means that beyond your knowledge.
That's
Yeah.
right, because normally if you start, say, as a Western nation, you always see all of Europe and
Yeah.
quite a bit of stuff, but that won't be the case with the randomized nation.
Who knows,
because,
man? You could build like the best country in the world and just spawn next to a better country and it'll crush you right away.
We
Like
had a
Killarumbia.
we
Right.
had a multiplayer campaign on Tuesday where we're stress testing this, and I ended up creating a trade/military power in Gascony.
Yeah.
Can someone hit the TV downstairs?
I got you. Hit OK. Do I just touch it? What am I doing?
We got
Hit
a-
OK? No, it's not touchscreen.
Technical, awesome.
He's got it. What?
I actually have a question for nation creation in the multiplayer. When you're picking your provinces, does that like instantly update everywhere else? So,
Yes.
so you can't both take
Yeah.
the same province? Okay.
Yeah. So basically, I was creating my trade, military stuff. I wanted to be organized around the Bordeaux end node because I was thinking long term. I also wanted to have a good base tax area.
You were doing the same thing I did.
Yeah, no.
You were focused on in-game
but
trade.
it was also not that much on trade. It was
Okay.
just a positioning there, and there was a lot of rich provinces in the, I don't know what the name of the river that goes out in Bordeaux is called. That had a lot of like 9, 8, 10 base stacks, a big dam, and lots and lots of coast provinces here and here and here, just to, we all know more coast provinces is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That naval force limit.
And Karsten, our QA, the EU4 QA expert, long story of titles. Anyway, he created a battaglia, which was kind of like what you wanted to have, which was basically the coastline up here.
Okay.
Then we ended up with Gotland, which was an AI country that had basically what is still Arumia here, the Kazakhs, Serbia there, most of like Germany up to like
It's just like all of the HRE.
yeah, it was the richest and most powerful country in the world, and it was Scotland. So they had the Gutnish ideas, which are pretty good. So we were a little bit worried. We gobbled up the small minor nations nearby, but since we were 2 players, we could hold our own and not be crushed.
Yeah,
to
no,
them.
yeah,
But-
we were crushed.
But it made like limited our expansion severely. What some people who were playing in like the east could be able to.
Just wreck.
It creates interesting because you don't really know what will happen.
Right.
I think that's the whole kind of focus of the expansion is to just really kind of vary everything up. I mean, kind of throw out what you know if you plan on playing the random thing, and just throw you in a whole new challenge that's going to kind of test your skill. And like you said, it's going to be a lot more skill based when it comes to that kind of thing.
And
I'm sure you'll be fine.
on top of that, you got the randomized New World too, which I
Throw that on. I
I
never thought about that.
I didn't use it too much, just because it's
We
kind of
tried
nice.
that one time.
It's kind of nice knowing where everything is.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
But when you pair that with random nations,
There's excitement to be had, I think,
Unlimited.
with a randomized new world, though. Walking into an area you don't know what to expect.
I find with the randomized new world, it tends to make a lot more sort of individual islands, at
Yeah.
least in all the games I did, and that's pretty significant because with the Americas as is, you just have to sort of get people over there once, and then you can keep wandering around with your troops and reach everything. But with the islands, then naval power becomes that much more important.
yeah, kind of unrelated to the nation designer. I know we talked a lot about that quite a bit, but I was talking earlier with Wiz, but Johan could probably chime in on this. Like the way that it's been changed with regard to like liberty desire. That's something I'm pretty excited about, because it used to be that a nation would want to like get rebelled from their overlord like 1700s, and then all the other nations would just say no. And they just dogpile the guy that wants out, and he's just done. The colonial nations would take care of it for him. Now they're doing something new where they like all rebel together, and they all have allies,
Yeah.
and they call them all in, and like it's
like,
gonna be
and not all rebel together, but only the ones that are at least 50% liberty desire.
awesome. So
And it's not just colonial nations that have liberty desire. It's
vassals, right?
yeah. It's,
Vassals are going to use the same liberty desire mechanic as colonial nations.
Well-
That's probably best, but how do they increase or go down?
Because you remember in Art of War, there was that one guy who, it wasn't me, but that one guy who waited until he had the imperialism CB, and then he just went with unlimited vassals because you don't need any Diplo points anymore, because you
Right.
can attack for 0 dip. So he had every single country in the whole world vassalized. Well, apparently now, if you have more vassals, like if their diplomatic technology is higher than your diplomatic technology, it gives them like 5 liberty desire. So that's broken. You can't do that anymore.
Okay.
But then they'll all rebel against you. And
This is the world I recognize.
makes sense, kind of.
yeah, I'm going to start this Great Britain, and we can look at how the liberty desire mechanic works with different types of
Okay.
So what year are you loading up?
7056 100 Years' War. We have subjects here. We have the 13 colonies.
With 100% desire.
Yeah, they want to become free. They will eventually declare war. They are big enough to give us a merchant, so it's Newfoundland and British West Indies and Newfoundland. They're not that high on liberty desire, but they're still.
They're over 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, and relative power versus Leech. They are the 13 colonies. They're rather powerful compared to Great Britain proper. Then you have Hanover, which are not that keen on breaking free.
They look pretty content.
Yeah, then you have the Carnatic Protectorate.
Now, is liberty desire going to increase more than before? Because I found it very easy to keep everyone below 50%.
But it's not a value that ticks up or down. It goes on stuff. You have like your war exhaustion. If they power, it's like if you're playing a small Portugal, Brazil will break free.
Okay,
Right.
because
Sounds-
of relative size?
The relative size. And then it's a relative size of like all your vassals compared to you a little bit? As
So the more vassals you have, the higher it goes up.
yeah, it's not that big as their own stuff. Then you have stuff like the opinion of the liege, if they trust you or not, your reputation. If you squeeze them dry with high tariffs, as we're doing here, they seem to want to have representation.
Wonder
and
why.
we don't really want to give them that.
That kind of reminds me a lot of the faction system in CK2.
Yeah.
The power
Right.
relative to liege. Yeah, that's good.
It's like we learn a lot between the various
The,
projects.
the,
Yeah.
the two
We
teams
say-
got together, had a conversation.
you see our office. We used to be in like the same room, all the dev teams, and now we don't fit in the same room anymore. So even if I create like a trade company, it's like I think we're gonna start with promises.
So all vassals will have this liberty desire, but I think I heard that, what are they called? The ones that you create yourself.
The client states.
Client states are very loyal, is that right?
Yes.
So they won't do that.
No. Client states. It's very unlikely for you to get them to break free.
Is it the same with marches?
Marches are less likely than vessels, but there's
Still a chance.
yeah.
Okay.
But
If they attack you, do they lose march status? Because they're technically independent.
God, I do not know.
Ha!
Yeah.
Stumped
Like,
me.
But
I did it.
It took him a what?
I know that when at least there should be marches until it's either after the first month after starting the war or until peace.
Right. Because they have a lot of force limit and they got a lot of fort defensiveness
Yeah.
for being a march.
Yeah. Do you guys? How do you use Soviets? Do you use some vassals or marches or vassal feed, or how do you treat
Me, mostly I do vassals and vassal feeding.
Yeah.
I did recently in my Polish campaign create eau de toilette in France.
Of course you did. Of course we did.
Yeah, because it was the French, and so I created that client state. But what was really great about it was that because you were able to impose your dynasty
Yeah.
on a client state, I actually inherited them like 5 years later. So I got all this land free, no monarch
Yeah,
points.
core and
And normally, when you create a vassal,
Yeah.
they're not your dynasty. So it takes a long time to even have a chance to get them your dynasty, and then even then, it's still an inheritance chance type
Yeah.
thing. But it was pretty cool that it was possible that quickly.
How was their autonomy when you inherited them? Like,
When you inherit a country, it's whatever it is.
yeah,
There's
so
no
it
increase.
didn't go up at all, just like annexing a vassal.
So their capital was automatically at 0%, and then they had cored everything, and they got it really low, and then I inherited it and just got all this land for free. It's pretty cool.
For me, I
but
think
inheritance is so luck based.
Yeah.
So you can't really count on it.
Why do you have 14 leaders?
It's the historical setup.
That's too many.
No,
It worked for them in the history.
It used to
14
be
of
that,
3.
and it's like
All right.
we don't really go through every bookmark and adapt to when rules changes because 99.99% of all games started is day one.
Well, this is proof that the AI cheats. They get 14 leaders.
Yeah,
It's not fair.
it doesn't cheat on that.
yeah, but they have like no military power anymore. So,
Yeah.
like they're getting 0 per month.
Or a negative almost. What was I saying? Yeah, marches. I had a game where I played a campaign as an Ottoman to get, the fun achievements, the Sultans of Rum or whatever it's called. I relied on having two neighbors as marches. I had Syria and Serbia as marches because they had cool military ideas. And then just other countries were temporary vassal fed, and then next.
I tend to be super greedy, and I often end up being way above my diplomatic relationship
Yeah.
limit of vassals, and it quickly becomes impossible for me to ever be able to annex them all just because of the relationship penalties. So usually I will end up picking a couple that I will just never be able to finish annexing, and then I'll march them.
That was your problem in the multiplayer campaign. I remember looking at you and
my
saying like,
Sweden game, too.
your country's not that big, and then I was like, wait, no, that's a vassal, that's a vassal. You have a vassal all the way through Ming.
I don't endorse it as the ideal way to play. I just go.
Whenever you
kinda
go to
greedy.
war, it was just like,
Yeah.
oh, he's going to war, he's going to have a hard time, and then all the
but
countries rise
you're
up.
gonna be behind, so much behind in diplomatic.
That's-
thing.
he
Oh yeah,
was.
yeah.
But-
And at min points too, because of all the coring I end up doing.
Which-
So I'm 100 years behind on both technologies.
In the past, being behind on diplomatic tech didn't really matter, but it sounds like with this new Liberty Desire mechanic, it's going to be a big deal.
and that's an excellent point, and I like it as a balancing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when we play our competitive multiplayer game, it's like countries that are not on par in administrative and diplomatic, they give up 20% efficiency.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah,
significant
if you're out ahead of
income.
time, yeah.
and that's a significant income because money is what decides if you win or lose wars.
Oh wait. So you want to go say it one more time?
Yes, I think you were saying.
Money. Just say money is what decides who wins wars. So
Yeah.
my Trady McTrade.
Yeah, but you couldn't protect me.
Nah. I won the war.
You know why I
Well,
like
Aruba wins.
countries that are like big blobs, like because I like to have depth because there will always be that asshole that declares war on you, and if you only have one or two provinces in depth until coast or important stuff, they will just blitz and take your stuff before you can. You have no places to recruit a reserve army if you get knocked out, because for some weird reason some people are opportunistic bastards.
Yeah, weird.
Me
Yeah.
included, but
Yeah, well, that's strange.
You know what that makes me think of? You're talking about depth. Like,
Yeah.
Do you use Scorched Earth in multiplayer? Do you guys use that feature?
some people do it sometimes. The
Who
thing
does?
is, I don't think
Scorched
it's
Earth.
super common.
That's all Ryan
common.
did was like, you're gonna take my land, scorched earth.
Ryan has a spite-based playstyle.
Yes.
Is really what it comes down to.
It is.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the first E4 press multiplayer event that you and Ryan
Yeah.
were at? Have you guys heard about what?
He told me about it, but it was a while ago.
Got my ass kicked by you. You were the
No,
Uzbeks and I
no,
was Muscovy.
Me and Ryan were allied. He was Mamelukes and I was Uzbeks. And you were the Muscovy and you were allied with Rob Sackney. He was Ottomans and some others.
The Ottomans and I think Poland and Troy as well, who was, I don't know, maybe the Knights or something like that. Not the Knights.
No, it's something more powerful. Hungary, maybe.
Teutonic Order. I felt like he was, I don't know,
Yeah.
somewhere in the north, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, and it's like the war ended up with basically the Mamluk and Uzbeks armies together sacking Constantinople and Muscovy after 150 years.
Yeah. It was bad.
That sounds good to me.
After all those things, we kept nerfing hordes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it didn't help that I didn't know all the mechanics. I didn't realize the fact that at the time, like, because I'd never played this game before,
Yeah.
and I kept going to attack you in, your territory as a steppe nomad, which turns out to be a really, really bad
in
idea.
the plains
Yeah.
with infantry.
Yeah, and
Against the
you're coming
cavalry.
at me with like massive stacks of cavalry.
And
I'm like, why do I keep
this was
losing?
pre-nerf, pre-release when cavalry was
Oh, they're so bad.
Super
EU
powerful.
free, the EU3 level powerful.
I
Never
still,
played
Wow.
EU3.
I still have the pre-release like review press version in my Steam. I want to make like a let's play in that old version really soon, just to show people the changes that have happened.
It's so much.
I don't know.
difference.
Would you be able to play without the army designer at this point?
I'd
Go that far back?
I still barely don't use
Not
the
late
army
game.
designer. That's how bad I am.
Army designer's fantastic.
It's nice when you've got a big country and a lot of money, and you just hit a button like I've got 50
That never
more troops.
happens to me.
No,
Be
Yeah.
a big country with a lot of money? No.
you-
Not my playstyle.
Best tactic is when you lose, just migrate to a more powerful country.
Or, yeah, just reload. It has a different
Right,
country. Just
exactly.
Straight up change countries.
How do you handle different templates?
I usually create one spur of the moment whenever I want to make a new army specifically, or I'll have like
exact
long.
number of units for your force limit.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
That's or I'll have like the long-term like here's a 20 stack template. This is what
Yeah.
I want to build every time I've got an available 24 limit.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll do it like a 10-2-8, and then I'll often have another one that's just like 10 infantry to replenish if I do like a consolidate in a war.
Right.
I just click build all mercenaries and I hope I win.
I like that one, too.
What I
It's
tend to
so
do is like I look at my current combat width and I like update it every 30 years and do the combat with infantry plus 4 cavalry plus 80% of combat width in artillery, and that I call that battle template, and you're just rebuilding new armies.
Just build that everywhere. So we
Yeah.
heard it straight from the guy.
Yeah.
This is how you win wars
No,
with this
no.
composition.
You
Well,
tried to
things
sell
like-
me on min-maxing based on combat width before.
Yeah. Well,
You win wars by building that composition and having the most money.
yeah.
Yes.
So you can pay
But
them.
I'm not
Also manpower.
Manpower.
by far
Technology.
the best
I learned my
player
lesson
in
last
the
Military
office.
ideas.
Yep.
Who is?
We used to give out trophies. I don't know if you saw the streams that Matt's been doing every Tuesday, but three times we've been 30 players on average. There's two people that have 3 trophies, and there's the other trophies shared on 2 people. And I've ended up 5th, 6th, and 4th. So I'm a fairly good multiplayer player, but I'm nowhere near the best ones. There's like you met Martin Wiss, our
Yeah.
project lead.
Yep.
He has a number 1 and a number 1 and a number 2 position because
Okay.
he's the AI programmer.
Yep.
Yeah.
and he's also really good at talking to people. So those two combination of knowing the mechanics, being able to forge alliances is what makes you good in multiplayer.
Mhm.
Then you have other guys like I mentioned Kirsten earlier, who's he's a QA, he's been working on a game for 3 or 4 years, so obviously knows stuff. But
Yeah.
he's also it's the other thing is that he's not evil. He doesn't jump people and he keeps his word.
So you like him?
No, people tend to
This
do
guy.
treaties with him.
Uh-huh.
He will attack you if you have betrayed his trust or if his alliance will dictates it, but he's not the one that backstabs. So people will give him deals.
I see.
And then
Unlike Aruba.
and then there's the real.
I'm a-
Aruba never
There's a
lies.
reason.
I'm very trustworthy.
There's a reason you get backstabbed a lot. Or no, not backstabbed. People fight against you a lot because you backstab a lot.
I do not. That's not even close to true.
backstab.
No, it's not.
You do.
It's not a
I'll fight you.
backstab if you attack someone that's clearly in a weakened position.
It's mostly a stab right to
That's
the
an
face.
attack of opportunity.
Yes, it's like I'm always perfectly honest. If you're a neighbor to me, and if you're far weaker, you will be attacked, unless you have allies and the circumstances dictate. It's
That-
like if every country has an army.
That was my saving grace as Venice. Is that I clung to France for as long as possible.
Yep, that's
Until
true.
you
Yep.
until you
And
finally
France, and
dismantled.
France got that BS mission to take over Savoy, which made them hate me.
And they got allied Castile and Spain
Yeah.
and eventually, and it was just impossible for you guys. It took forever. Like it was the end of the series before you were able to like attack France. And it took me like telling you where their armies were while I was allied.
That's true. We had a spy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, all right, I'll work
Yeah.
with you as long as you leave me alone.
Right. You know what we should do is we should totally hack into Paradox's multiplayer and just don't let them know, but we'll just take over 4 of the countries
Yeah.
and we'll play with you.
I want to see. I'd love to see you play with Wiz if he's that good.
Well,
That would be
Flash
nice.
of like-
we're doing a
guys,
stream
yeah.
tomorrow. Wiz and I will be doing a stream again on El Dorado, so maybe
There you go.
we'll set something up. We'll see.
Much more intelligent.
Definitely want to see that.
But the interesting thing is like, as you all know, when we play multiplayer and single player is
It's
two different
Oh, yeah,
Oh, it's a different
It is.
world.
Yeah, yeah.
I can
Yeah.
actually do okay in single player,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
in multiplayer.
The single player is mostly about understanding the rules by which the AI operates, both
Yeah.
in terms of peace and also in war. Like winning a battle against the AI is about knowing how it's going to move, how to bait them into doing something.
Yeah.
And human beings are not going to do that. And with human beings, the diplomatic aspect is completely different. You've got to play
Yeah.
that meta game where you're actually talking to
Which
people
is
and
great.
convince them.
And the other thing too is
Right.
in single player you can pause whenever you need to think about it.
Yes.
When in multiplayer, if you're getting attacked, you have to think now.
Yeah.
You have to
Right.
just
like
now.
we constantly play at speed 3.
Oh,
We play speed 2.
That would be tough.
Yeah,
To
speed
play
2.
at speed 3. But you
I-
have like 40 people on LAN.
Yeah.
That's another constraint. There's
Yeah,
the
because-
internet connection speed.
Yeah, I wouldn't dare playing above speed 2 on the internet,
Right.
considering we have lots of stuff, mechanics in the game that detects if someone's computer's too slow, because that will drag them down and make them go out of sync.
Yeah.
And if they're, and you can see how the latency and stuff is, but
We've been lucky enough. We've been able to bump it to speed 3 during the slow periods and have very little problems.
when everyone's at peace.
So I was gonna say whenever it's
Yeah.
not warring. The minute war starts at speed 2, obviously.
it's always best to have the guy with the worst PC being the host.
Yeah.
Right.
Because then the speed will be dictated by that one, and he will be able to keep up with the speed.
Right.
Right.
But then again, you can see in like in the tooltips at the top of the date when you play in a multiplayer game, you see what the date everyone is at,
Yeah.
and there's
Yeah.
also indicators if you're playing single player. Let's see if we can see that. The computer is not fast enough, but that needs to take up a few days. Yeah, there will be in the tooltip up there. You'll see like if we're not fast enough to
You'll
run
say.
at this speed, it will say that.
Right.
So because at speed 1, 2, and 3, and 4, they are like timed to be per seconds and so on.
And 5 is just as fast as the computer can handle it.
Yeah.
Right.
So sometimes it gives false positive when it's blinking like that, but that's not something to think about that much. But Winds of Liberty, most worrisome.
Very good. So do you guys take advantage of some of the other mechanics that you really can't use in single player, like loans or I'm trying to think of anything else that
Why
comes to
can't you
mind.
use loans in single player?
The AI will never
I mean,
use.
loans between.
They will never accept a loan.
Oh, you
Oh,
mean
that
like
way, yeah, yeah.
giving money to
Right.
between
Like,
the two?
that's something that like I thought was a really fun part of the game, but it
Yeah.
kind of got removed from single player.
It was too exploitable.
Yeah. Yeah. that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, that's,
I did it.
That's
I
why
did.
you
I was
liked
gonna
it,
say,
yeah.
wow, the room is upset about an exploit being removed.
Well, it's like one of those things that like that I would have personally preferred that an alternative solution be found versus just removing it. Kind of like Imperial Authority, like not being able to use the.
I'm not allowed to play with the toys anymore. Remember to stop.
I know it's not fair.
Yeah.
As much as you call the computers cheating bastards, you sir break the game.
Well, they don't really cheat.
I know,
They,
but you
really
do.
don't. But at the same time, they are very exploitable.
I think the only thing that the AI truly sort of cheats in EU4 is that they do know where your units are, although they sort of pretend like they don't, and their ships can go anywhere in the world without being attrition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wiz keeps a updated thread or post which sheets the AI is using,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
but it's not that many.
God mode. You know,
God mode.
they have that one on all the
Oh
time.
yeah.
No, it's not active right
They
now.
always roll 9s.
Yeah.
France
They
always
roll-
comes in with 666 generals. You know, I
That
know
was the
this.
best part about the war of watching you guys fight France and their 666 generals.
France, god damn.
I know. It's like, oh, you guys want to attack me? France is going to take care of you. That and another great tactic I developed while we played multiplayer is spawn rebels and let them go into your country.
That's true.
That's the best thing.
It's like-
I don't need to form an army if my rebels were just like, yeah, I'll just cross the border and attack you. That was my favorite part.
that was to
Ryan
Ryan,
got
right?
so
Yeah.
mad. He's like, "Ah, stop, fine, I'll deal with their rebels, whatever. I'm like, thanks, Ryan, you're my friend.
Giant stacks of rebels crossing into Northern Lions territory. Yeah.
It was the best.
So Johan, which part to El Dorado are you the most excited about as a developer?
As a developer or as a gamer?
Both.
Kind of both.
Give us
like,
both.
Because like I know what I'm excited about, but I kind of want to see what
I-
happens.
the automated boats.
As a developer, it was kind of fun to have like all these new religious mechanics because I love having diversifying the experience of the game.
Didn't you also add in a whole huge number of available cultures to choose from now?
No, it's the same amount of culture. We haven't changed cultures.
You know,
Which is gonna give you an important flag that we added for. God, we need to have this interface better. I hate this fucking shit.
I just make the solid color flag.
You heard it here.
He hates that clicking shit.
I make like the color of my country is blue. My flag is just solid blue. Done.
I think you can shift click.
Yeah, to
go
move 10 at a
by
time.
10.
But it occurred to me a fun thing would be to make a really overpowered country with like the full 800 points somewhere in Europe, but then like pick the Aztec religion.
Yeah.
So obviously
Or-
all the Catholics would hate you, but then you get to sacrifice everyone all the time.
Right.
This would be maybe a fun challenge you could do. Is you could put it on easy mode, right? So you have 800 points to spend,
Right.
and then create like 5 super nations,
And then limit
and then
yourself.
you
Yeah.
play another nation with 200 points. Now you've got these big. Well, it's kind of like playing against France, actually.
Okay, so trick question: what shield have I created? Which?
With the frogs? Is that what that is?
I don't know.
No clue.
This
No,
is
no.
the official coat of arms of Lucifer or Satan.
Well, there you go.
It's actually described in a
So Aruba's new flag.
13th century description of coats of arms, and it's basically something with a golden bastard bar over golden bar over red, and then 3 frogs proper in green over it.
There you go.
It's actually from a coat of arms description in the
So-
early medieval era.
And it is 666. Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
That's
So-
awesome.
It's
That's,
666 on the first three number.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Was that planned? It must have been.
I hope
we,
so.
we decided.
Okay.
I'll remember that for
walked
you,
in
Aruba.
because I was reading all this, like, okay, which symbol should we have? What stuff was like, okay, what's like a weird coats of arms that we need to support? And I'm like, okay,
So if you use this coat of arms, does it like enable a hack of some
no,
sort?
nothing.
Bonus shock value.
It should just be that. Should be
How's that
the,
stamp?
It's just one of those little fun.
well, it should only be available on Aruba's build.
We'll use that one for the trade
There you go.
game.
There you go.
All right, guys, you have about 2 minutes remaining.
Oh no, let's wrap it up then.
Oh, I thought we started.
I know.
Yeah,
goes
this
fast.
is weird.
So how
Consulting
about
Aruba takes up
setting
a
up
lot
a
of time.
multiplayer for the future? We should try that. I really think we should.
I
Be
would
cool.
be happy to. I just need to be protected.
Well, Johan would protect you with his step nomad
Unless I'm
cavalry.
smaller, because then he'll just.
I'll protect you by
Or if
conquering
you
your
neighbor
nation
him.
and integrating you within me, and we'll be all right.
But I'm looking forward to sitting down again with Ryan proper and figuring out what the next big session we're gonna do.
I thought he died. Isn't that what this is about? I thought he passed away.
I don't know. I think he just got canceled.
Oh.
Well,
Well,
spread those rumors now. The internet's going to believe it. Be careful what you say online.
Right.
it's true.
Yeah.
But no, I'm looking forward to sitting down. It's been a while since I've actually had time to play a lot of EU4 and like you two, but I'm looking forward to getting together again and making some nations and putting you guys on 50 points and taking 800 points and still losing somehow.
Now I don't know, Johan. Have we actually? Is there been an official announcement on El Dorado dates? Is that something we can talk about? Or?
26th of February, I think we've said.
So that's like not even 2 weeks away, right?
Yeah, we're seeing soon.
Yay!
Yeah, and I think it's 14.99 and
I think it's like 2 Wednesdays from now, isn't it?
it's, it's a Thursday release.
Okay.
All right.
So
Well, we'll be all over El Dorado day one. So
Yeah. Assuming everything works out with no bugs.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for
And if-
talking to us.
If anyone has any suggestions about what kind of nations we should play, where should we play, anything like that, definitely tweet us or
If anyone just wants to play for me and I can just commentate over it, that works too.
at least we found our Rumbus flag.
Yes,
Right,
we
that's
did.
what I'm saying. I'm so happy about that.
I'll use that flag, sure.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
Can you make like the rebel flag? Because that would be pretty funny.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Can you do one without emblems? Let's see.
Yeah, if you go down to 1, it's blank. I just didn't
Yeah.
know if the color, like if it all worked out okay.
I don't know.
Because it's
which
what,
one.
like black background. Is there a stripe? What does the
Yep,
rebel
there it
flag
is.
look like?
There you go.
Oh, this is
Well, it's gotta
slightly
be-
green, but
Close enough.
You could confuse your enemies.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You're
not
gonna confuse
that's not my
yourself.
enemy. That's just some rebels. Don't worry about it.
Awesome. Well,
confusion to our enemies.
I'm looking forward to it. You lose your mic?
Yeah.
It's all gone.
So we're gonna wrap it up then.
I think we are.
Excellent.
Thanks for coming and chatting with us, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you, Johan, for coming by. Arumba, whatever, man. Quill, thank you.
Whatever. Screw you. I don't like you anymore.
And Ryan, it's always good to have you, baby.
Aw. See you next time, folks.
All right.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, we're going to go live with our next segment in about a few minutes from now. We're going to be sitting down with our good friend Angry Joe and see what he has to say here about some stuff that we've done in the past and maybe doing in the future together with our esteemed Fred Wester. We'll be right back with you. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that.